It's Sunday, and it is time for my mental health vlog. I am tired. I'm not going to lie. We just woke up from a nap. We drove to Fort Worth and back this weekend for a concert for my son's birthday. I keep saying Dallas. It's not Dallas. It's Fort Worth. It's what you say when you're going to a smaller city next to a bigger city. Like if someone was driving from Dallas to Katy, Texas, they would say they're going to Houston. Or if I'm going to Port Orange, Florida, I would say I'm going to Daytona. It's a thing you do when you're going to a smaller city next to a bigger city. Anyway, it was about 5 hours there and about 4 hours back. It was for a touring concert called Final Fantasy Distant Worlds, Distant Winds, I don't know, I don't play Final Fantasy, but it was a concert that was here in Houston a few months back. And my son was like, oh, can we go? And at the time, we weren't able to swing it. So, my boyfriend found that it was touring and that it was going to go to Fort Worth and around the same time as my son's birthday. So I'm like, well, let's do it then. So we did. We got great seats and we got a hotel. And then Friday, when we picked up my son, we had pizza for dinner. We always do. Friday night's pizza night now. And we gave him a cupcake with a candle in it, and he opened some cards. And then we told him about the gift that we would be leaving in the morning to go to Fort Worth to see the concert that he wanted to see. Blah 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 blah. And he was like, okay. And then he's like, are there presents to open? And I was just like, damn it. I don't want my son to associate love with things. And he doesn't need anything. So we were trying to do more experience-based presents than stuff that he's going to open, be excited about for like 5 minutes, and then it's going to end up in a closet or in a box or under the bed or never played with again. I mean, I've had 10 years with this kid. I know his attention span for new toys and stuff. But I could tell he was disappointed. And this is the part that's hard for me because I don't want my son to associate love with things or think that I don't love him because I don't give him anything. I don't give him more. And it's frustrating because I don't feel like I need to compete with my ex, but my ex makes more than I do. And my ex doesn't have to pay child support every month. So, and my ex is like, well, in reality, it's like you're giving him gifts through me. I'm like, yeah, but you get the glory. You get to be the one that gives him that stuff. And my name's not on those cards. So it's frustrating. I don't want to give my son stuff he doesn't need or want. And I also don't want to have to compete with my ex. My ex has got him a very expensive gift for Christmas. And I was talking with my boyfriend, and I'm like, let's get him a new laptop. I said he carries around his dad's laptop, and he talks about how the speed is horrible sometimes. I'm like, he's 10 years old now, and let's get him a laptop for Christmas that he can use for both the gaming that he likes and that he'll be able to use for school. So we ordered the laptop, and when I dropped off my son, when I picked up my son on Friday, I was letting him know, okay, so I know what y'all have got him for Christmas. This is what we've got him for Christmas. And he was like, why? And I'm like, well, and I told him why. He said, he's got two. He has one that he uses back and forth when he comes to your house, and then he has one that he uses here at home. The kid doesn't need a third fucking laptop, so I don't know. It's frustrating. And I know, I don't believe that my ex is doing it to be mean or vindictive, but I struggle. I've always struggled with gift giving anyway. I've never been great at it. It's frustrating. Let's see, some other issues that happened with the trip this weekend. We were running a little bit behind schedule on Saturday, and part of that was my fault. I thought I had to do some work Saturday morning. I got my weeks confused. It's actually next Saturday I have to do some work. So we ended up leaving a little bit later than we had initially planned, which put us in a little bit later than we had planned. We were going to meet one of my boyfriend's best friends and family for dinner, which was really cutting it short, and it ended up cutting things really short because for some reason we were meeting really far away from where the venue was. I haven't figured that out yet. And by the time we got over close to the venue, there were like 3 events going on that night within like a couple blocks radius, and streets were closed off, and we would sit at traffic lights that would turn green, red, green, red, green, red, green, red, green, red, and we just wouldn't move. At this point, we had already missed the first few moments of the concert, so it's like, let's just park in that parking lot for the other museum. The museum is closed, and fingers crossed we don't get towed. Because like 2 or 3 other people we had seen doing that, I'm like, let's just do it. And then there were groups of us that were running from the parking lot to the venue because we were all trying to get to the same thing. So that was frustrating, especially because I felt like this is the only thing we got him for his birthday, and we're gonna miss it. But we got in. My son said he had a good time. I don't know how much of that was accurate. And I'm harping on this a lot more than I should be. My mom is confirmed for Christmas, so she's coming out to Texas. Yay. Unclear if my sister and brother-in-law are joining her. Initially, the plan was for all 3 of them to come, so I'm still waiting on my sister for that. And then once we have the dates lined up, we can work on getting tickets and whatnot. But I'm excited that Mom's coming out for Christmas. Speaking of parents, odd enough, my boyfriend and I were watching Drag Race UK this week. And, you know, they always have that sentimental scene where they're all talking about something they all have in common, either a trauma they've gone through, or, you know, how awesome something is, something out there theirs was growing up. And they were talking about how they all had these amazing relationships with these super supportive dads. And I was watching this and like, that would have been so nice. It would have been so nice to have a great relationship with my dad. I got screwed. But anyway, times are changing, and I guess adults in general are better than they were. So that's awesome. On Thursday, my boyfriend and I went to go see the musical Six, which, if you are unfamiliar, is about the 6 wives of Henry VIII. I have loved the music since it first came out a couple years ago, and was very excited and fortunate to be able to go see the show. Loved it so much more than I thought I would. My boyfriend and I had a great time. It's an amazing show. It really is great. Wednesday, I went to my meeting. We're continuing reading the same book, which is a little outdated because it refers to, you know, same-sex marriage not being legalized or recognized in the U.S. So it's an older book, but it was continuing on that concept of growing up in a homophobic household or society conforming to societal norms. And you know, last week I talked about that share that you know, a lot of us didn't have anyone to look up to for societal norms. We had to merge our own path, or we had to follow the negative stereotypes that we had available. And we were talking this week about shame and not being ashamed, you know, where we may have grown up with the shame of being gay, or the shame of the stigma of being gay. You know, we don't have that now, and in most places. And I talked about the fact that it's no question if someone sees me, if they have to question if not I'm gay. I have a rainbow watch band. I have these, which I love, and my hair is generally some shade of blue or purple. And I was kind of thinking about it, and I'm like, how often do I have someone generally younger than I am look at me and go, I really like your glasses? And it took me a while to realize that a lot of people aren't saying, I like your glasses, which they are, because they're fabulous. They're saying, I recognize you as a safe person. I recognize you because we have similarities. You're safe. And that resonated when I talked about that on the meeting. That I'm glad that I can be a safe, positive person where I didn't have that very much growing up. Now, I will say, my mother, her best friend, is gay, and he's in an age between my mother and I. And I'm consistently blessed that he was there in my mom's life when I was coming out. Because what a resource he was for her. And it was so nice to have a positive role model for me. Because my positive role models when I was coming out weren't a lot. I had him. I had my mom's hairdresser. What was his name? Jim. I had my mom's hairdresser, who was... They were both relatively flamboyant people. And then I had, a few of the negative things on TV. So I did have a cousin who I'm like 99.9% certain was gay, but it's not someone I saw very often because it was on my dad's extended family side. So I'm happy that I can be a safe space for someone. And when that little boy looks at me and goes, I like your glasses, they're saying, I see you, please see me. And I love that. Love that. So I always, I respond, I'm like, thank you very much. So I want to let them know that I do see you. I get it. So anyway, it's a cool little thing you get out of a pair of glasses. I actually went to have some blood drawn on Friday because these allergies are kicking my butt. I just took a day off on Friday. I'm like, I need a me day. And this is one of the things I had to get done. And she bruised the hell out of me. And someone's like, well, did you piss her off? I'm like, well, she said she wanted my glasses. And I told her she couldn't have them because I'd be blind. So they think that's why she bruised me. I mean, it's so bad. Look at that. You can't really see it very well. There, that looks worse than my monkeypox vaccine. Freaking vampire. Someone pointed out, if they left you a mark, it probably wasn't a phlebotomist. It was probably a nurse. And I think that they're right. Talking about like this, like one of the other questions was, when did I stop caring if I dressed too gay or if something made me look gay? Or that was kind of how the topic came up. And I'm like, I think honestly, when I became a dad, it's like when I just decided to give zero fucks. I wanted to be authentic. And I think that every year that I had my son, it became a little bit more and more of, I want to live my authentic truth so that he knows that it's okay to be your authentic self, even if it's unconventional. So I kind of think that that's where mine spawned from or spurred off of. The last thing I'm going to talk about this afternoon or this evening, kind of hate time change. It is a sexually related thing. I will say we put I talked a couple weeks ago about the box spring we've added to our mattress, which raised our mattress up, which has made certain positions more challenging. We got a step stool. Oh, chef's kiss. That was everything. I think every short top with a tall bottom needs a step stool. Just saying. Oh God, I hate when I say that. That is all I've got this week. Still dealing with a lot with the blowback from the whole birthday thing. So now we're trying to figure out Christmas, and I don't want my son to feel disappointed, but I also don't want him to be a spoiled brat. So I got to find a happy medium with that. So anyway, All right, I love you guys. I am gonna go eat some dinner and then be a vegetable for the rest of the night because I have earned that. And I will check in with you guys next week. Bye. Oh, wait. Check on your friends, check on your family, check on yourself, blah, blah, blah. I say blah, 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 but it is important. All right, bye, guys.